Hey, it's Coach Manny, and I hope you're fired up today. I hope you're fired up today because it's Coach Manny, and I'm ready to rock and roll as we continue our session from last week when we were talking about follow up. And I hope some of you out there got the book and had a chance to read through it and just take a look at it. And I think we got this thing working now. So if you're on the call and you've got a question, just go to your chat thing because chat's on over there. Give me the question and we'll try to answer it as best we can. So we're going to continue today with follow-up, which we started last week and we spent about a half hour. We got about halfway through. So I just want to let you know a couple of housekeeping things, and then we'll do kind of a quick recap of those first 8 or so things, and then we'll go into today's lesson. We're here every week with some lesson, and we've got some guests coming in, which is really exciting. Starting in February, we're going to have some guests on sharing some stuff with you, and we're looking to bring in the best and the brightest on this hangout. So I hope you can join us each and every week. And we got a special for you today. Again, you know, we always have that special for you. We figured one more shot we'll give you. Let's see if we can do this. So let's just recap a minute because we talked about the ways we can follow up. We talked last week about number one being your initial, did I cover up that? Yeah, your initial email. Then we talked about being able to have a regular email. Then we talked about some kind of educational email, you know, regular, helping people to learn because it's so important. We talked about invitations and giving people invitations to events. And if you saw my article this week on one-on-one, we did talk about one-on-ones a little bit. If you didn't see the article, go out to the blog. This is a big piece. I mean, I don't know how many people I've got comments back on and information from about, geez, Manny, nobody talks about this, but you're right. We need this. So again, it just proves the criticalness of the one-on-one. And if you're not doing them, you need to find a way to do them. Social media connection, are you using that? We talked about this guy, the old-fashioned guy, right? Just make a phone call. Come on. And then we talked about some in-person visits. And today we're going to pick up where we kind of left off, which is let's share some information, right? This is number 9 in the list of follow-up. And all these things that I'm sharing with you today are ways to build that relationship once you make that connection. Because people meet all kinds of people. And just like in the book, you know, where we talk about the cover and we talk about how bad things are when it comes to people doing follow-up and the array of cards. I want to see if I can share that with you. I had it up here earlier today because I was working on some stuff with that cover, and I just wanted to share it with you and let you see it. So you get a feel for what I'm talking about, you know, when I talk about these covers. So let's put that there, and let me, I think this is where we're at. Yeah, let me share my screen with you real quick. And there it is. There's the book. And that pile, believe it or not, that pile of cards there is actually taken from one of my clients when I was over there visiting, and I asked, what the lowly is this? And they said, oh, there are all the cards I didn't get to. And, you know, it's just, that's kind of where some of that started. But just so you understand, that's what happens. I mean, people just, they collect all these cards. And what good is it? If you're not going to follow, you're missing so much business. Now, come on. Let's get it together. If you meet somebody and you start a conversation and there's somebody who you don't know a lot about, but they could be a potential for you, Instead of going out and keeping trying to meet more and more people, that's what they do. I talk about it in the book. One of the things I talk about in the book is, this is Joe, the sales guy. And what does Joe do? Joe goes out, man, he gets every event. He brings in 30 new connections or 20 new connections, and it's wonderful. But guess what? The next thing, he gets 20 more. But does he do any business? No. In fact, he got fired because he wasn't closing any business. And why did he get fired? Because he wasn't following up. And that's why I want to, whether you're the owner of the business, whether you're the sales manager, whether you're a salesperson, you got to learn. The most important thing is to take it to the next step. And that's what these 16 things we share with you are all about. So number 9 in that whole array was share information. And that just means, hey, this person's a financial planner. I read this article. That might be interesting to them. This person's a painter. I read this article. This might be interested to them. And of course, that gets into my real thing, right? You know how I feel about you have to read, right? So you should be reading as an expert out there and sharing that stuff with your client. All right, let's go to number 10. And this is a real key one that you need to remember. Refer them. Hey, guess what? Yeah, it is number 10. Refer them. What does that mean? It means really simply that this person does this particular skill. Why aren't you sharing that with someone in your network? Why aren't you giving them a lead? Why aren't you helping them to generate some business? I tell you, it is amazing. And I got to share this story. Until I started giving people work, I often wondered, why aren't they giving me any work? And that's what it was always about. I wonder why they're not giving me any leads. And then, amazingly, what happens is I give somebody some leads, and what happens? The next week I go to a networking event, and they're asking me about what I do. The week after that, they're talking about, can we do some business together? It does work that way. Now, I want you to be real careful here. Make sure. If you're not getting any work, start giving some. If we really took a deep look, we could do a lot of referrals. Let's do them. Now, of course, you understand that if I'm going to refer some work, I got to feel confident. But that's a whole nother story. So let's go to number 11. How about a gift or a promotion? Don't we all just love even if it's silly stuff? For those people out there who are in the promotional products, you guys need to be selling more of those to us. I mean, I should have a stack of promotional products in my office with little boxes that I just flip out to people as, it was great talking to you. It was great meeting you, whatever. It's just something else in the array. And people, you get this cute little box and you say, I don't care who you are. And don't give me a crap story about, I don't care about it. It's neat to get something cool in the mail. And why don't you send out something like that? Well, do you think that might help your business to some degree? Of course it's going to help your business. Number 12. How about a social contact? Now, I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about social media, because I think we go out and, first of all, we spend all that time. And what's the first logical thing? When I meet you at an event, we have a good conversation. I'm going to ask you, do you mind if I send you an email? And you're going to say, no, go ahead and send it to me. And then I tell you, I got some people out there within unbelievable short time, they send me a request to connect on LinkedIn. And I mean, sometimes before I get back to the office, but it's okay, because I've just taken step 2, haven't I? Step 1 was I met you. Step 2 was we connected on LinkedIn. Do you think we're moving forward in building a relationship? Do you think I'm starting to do some follow-up? Do you think we might just do some business together? Wow. How about that? So LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. Now, I do a lot of networking on LinkedIn, which is a subject we're going to talk about in a future one of these hangouts. But that's just part of the process. All right. The other part that you really got to get a hold of is I met him. I got his business card. He's got on my email list. We're connected with LinkedIn. What's next? How about Facebook? Once I connect with you on LinkedIn, why can't I connect with you on Facebook? People, if you are under that illusion that Facebook isn't a place for B2B, come back to the real world today, because guess what? It's the place. I gotta drive this fact forward, and I gotta really push this fact with you. Facebook is a place to do B2B. Now, some of the people making a lot of money out there have been saying that for years, and they've been proving it. So don't ever think that. And those of you who say, well, my Facebook is a place I just like to keep private, and it's where I keep my family stuff. Look, you're living in 2016. Nothing's private. I don't know how many of you watch that show called Person of Interest. But if you haven't watched Person of Interest, take a look at it. I only watch stuff on Netflix, but I saw it. And I've been watching the series, and, you know, nothing is private. Everything is out there today. So if you think you can go to Facebook and only my friends can see, guess what? Surprise, people can see, people do see. So why not use it to your advantage? I use Facebook. Personally, I put a lot of stuff on Facebook. You can see me jamming. I want people to see what I'm like. I want people to see what else I do. And I want to see what else they do. It's a perfect follow-up. You know, you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do next, Manny? How do I follow up? And you see the person on Facebook and you say, wow, daughter just had a kid. They just had a kid. They were just here. Quick little note, right? Can do it right on Facebook. Hey, I see you're over here. Wow, what a way to do follow-up, build relationship, and have some fun at the same time. Because you know what? As you build these relationships, you build friendships that you're going to do business with. And that's just, don't pass that by. Don't cut social media short. There's just so much you can do. And that really was, I kind of went into point 13 here, which is ask LinkedIn Connect. And that's a big way to follow up, is to ask a LinkedIn Connect. And then take a look at, you know, I'm going to do a session with LinkedIn, and my good friend Howard, of course, he has a great product out there. It's still very reasonably priced. If you're doing anything with LinkedIn, get a hold of Howard. And if you don't have the connection data, just flip me an email. I'll connect you to, or look up Howard Yermish out on the web. His product, I'm going to tell you right now, the best product out there. So definitely get yourself a copy of it. All right. How about this? Can you review something for me? You ever think about doing that in the follow-up process? You ever think about asking people that you've connected with out there if they would mind taking a look at, hey, I'm working with a client. You're pretty good at working with this market, or maybe you've worked with somebody. Could you take a look at this? Hey, I'm doing this quick little email. I don't feel right. Could you look at this for me? Hey, you're an expert. I know I'm going to hire you someday, but could you look at this? You know, people feel great. And especially, you know, if they're not in coaching, they're just people in, you know, doing some business, and you ask their opinion. People love to share their opinion. And you know what? One reason mastermind coaching, which is part of what I do, works so well is because when you do peer-to-peer sharing and peer-to-peer asking and peer-to-peer relationships, it just jacks up your ability to do more and more business. So don't bypass that. Mastermind, and just let me detour for a minute. We do have a new Mastermind product coming out next year. It is a high-end product, but I'm going to tell you what I've learned is that 4 to 5 people in a room every week over an extended amount of time will generate you more business than you ever thought possible. And so ask for opinions. And then how about ask for some advice? Huh? Now, what do you want to mean here? I mean, you call me and you're not going to ask the simple question, man, could you give me some business advice? Because that's what I pay people for, and I'm not going to give it away, of course. But you could call me and you could say, hey, Manny, because I've been in your social media platform and I've followed you a little bit. Hey, man, I see you've been to Mexico. What do you think is the best places down there to visit? Hey, man, I got to book a flight to the West Coast. Who do you think how do you do that today? Wow. Again, People love it when you ask them for advice because people love to give advice, don't they? People just hate to take it. I got to be honest with you. People just hate to take advice, but they certainly love to give advice. It's just a human nature thing. So don't hesitate when it comes to asking advice. And one of the questions that came up is, what kind of stuff could you review without getting in trouble? I mean, you can't ask financial planners to do financial review because that's what they do for a living, right? You can't ask a plumber to come over and give you some advice about how doing some pipe fitting, but you can. Okay? You can ask the little questions because guess what? When I need some big help, who am I going to go to? So this is so critical, and we don't do it. And you can't do it if you haven't spent the time to do the follow-up and you haven't spent the time to build the relationship. So don't hesitate there. Work on that relationship and see what you can come up with. And how about this one? How about this one? How about you use the service? How about you use me or I use you? What about that? I mean, we talked about referring somebody else, but what about the simple thing of, hey, I need a plumber. Oh, this guy's in one of my groups. I guess I'm going to use him. What does that do for the relationship? Takes it way up to another level. Have you done that? Are you using the people? I mean, I was in a new networking group and I had my refrigerator was giving me some issues. My dryer was giving me some issues. There was an appliance repair guy in there. Guess who? What? Got my business. And now we have a relationship. There's a person in there who does carpets. I need carpet. You know what? Look at the people that you're connecting with, and guess what? If they're really energetic and they're looking to build businesses, even if you're in a business like mine, coaching or consulting, the relationship that starts is what happens now is you have gone from being just a connection. Now you're their customer. What's that going to do for you? Come on. These things I've shared with you are simple, easy things. Any of you can do them. So, and I think that might be all we have. Yeah, that's it. So the question is, well, are you going to do the follow-up? Or are you going to, where is it? I mean, just bring it up here again. Or is this what you're going to do for me? Are you going to end up with this big pile of junk sitting out there and just having that out there? I hope not, because one of the things we want to do is we want to get you to really think about the follow-up and to think about some stuff. So let's look at some questions here, and some of these go back a little bit. And, you know, one was surrounding the initial email. What kind of stuff do I send? Why can't I send my information? Well, you can't send your information to me on the first call because I don't really want to see it. I'm probably not going to look at it. I'm not interested in buying. I just met you. You know, can you get this through your head? I mean, there's so many people out there that can't get it through their head. I just met you. I don't know you. I don't know how good your work is. Why am I going to do business with you? In insurance, and I don't want to pick on you insurance guys, but I will for a minute because I have a lot of good friends in that business. But you come to me and you say, well, you really should look at my, I got some great investments or a great, you know, life insurance policy, and you really should look at. I don't even know you. There's no trust. You're not a trusted advisor. You're nothing but someone I met at a networking event. I hate to break it down that simple, but that's all you are. You're nothing but someone I met at a networking event. You haven't crossed that bridge yet. So how do you cross that bridge? That's why the initial email, you don't send down any of that stuff. You're in the regular business of writing articles. I'm not. What kind of stuff can I give my clients? Well, all of us should be doing a lot of reading and research and running across things. And when we run stuff that's interesting, that's the kind of stuff you share out to your clients. I do a lot of, you know, every week I write a custom article. You don't have to write a custom article. You could find something out there and share it. A lot of times I like to just take something. If I'm you, I just take something and I quote it and then I put a comment in. I hate to send people to other people's sites because um, that just doesn't work. Now I got I have a lot of questions here on one-on-one. What, you know, how do we get there? How do we set that up? What is the criteria? Look, I met you at a networking event. I sent you an email. Maybe we connected on LinkedIn. I should at this point feel comfortable saying, "Hey, Manny, I'd like to sit down and just have a cup of coffee. How do you feel about that?" And maybe you get, "I'm not interested." Hey, we all get smacked in the face sometimes, right? It's just part of what happens. But usually people will sit down with you and listen. You don't have to do it face to face in person. You got so many tools. You can do it just like this. Hangouts are a great tool. There's Skype. There's what's that thing on the iPhone that you can use to FaceTime. You can use all these things to do a FaceTime, or you can just do a call, the old-fashioned call on the phone. The point is, you want to share some information, you want to learn something. I do one-on-ones all the time on the phone. In fact, I have a piece of software now that sends out my schedule, and I schedule one-on-ones with people on the phone all the time. And it's a great way because, it's 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on how the conversation goes. And it's a great way just to share information. So just ask, how long should I wait before I ask for a one-on-one? Depends on how the relationship went. If I went to a meeting and you and I started talking and we got into a deep conversation, I say, look, Sam, listen to me. I really want to talk some more. Can we set up a meeting, a one-on-one? So I'll do it right then. Now, look, the one thing I'm going to warn you, do not do this. Do not go to an event, and even if it's a person that you've met before, and sit there and say, we got to get together. I'm going to call you or I'm going to email you. I got one guy I've been trying to get a hold of for 2 weeks because of something like that. I still haven't got a hold of him. So what it is we all got a smartphone in our pocket. Get the phone out, start making a call, and make the connection. All right, let me not get too much on there. What other kind of social media do you recommend? Well, I recommend you find one social media tool for your follow-up. I use LinkedIn as my key tool and Facebook as a backup. I do a little bit of Twitter because some people like it. Starting to look at some other tools. I like G+, but and I do some things with it. But that's 4 tools right there, and that's so much that I have to go back all the time, and I'm really trying to become the king of LinkedIn. And all that really means is, as my friend Grant Cardone says, and if you haven't watched Grant, watch him. He is amazing. He's crazier than I am. I thought I was crazy, but this guy, he is a wild man. But when it comes to the process, you've got to work it, okay? Social media works, but you've got to dominate something in the file. I look to dominate LinkedIn. I'm now rising in LinkedIn. I'm getting my connections. That's the tool I'm going to concentrate. I think we made this offer last week, so let's go back here and bring it up for you and show you what we got for you today. We got the book. You saw it. I shared it with you, right? And just go out on Amazon and look up My Sales Follow-Up Sucks. And let me just bring that up here because this is the book. It is out on Amazon. My Sales Follow-Up Sucks. This book is powerful. If you are struggling with your follow-up, you need to get a copy of this book. Get the book. It's $2.99. And that, I mean, seriously, that's it. That's all we're charging for the book. Now, let me talk a little bit, but I have to get where I need to get to here. Let me talk just a minute, and I think I could share that. Yep. About the double your sales process. everything we talk about and a lot of the stuff we concentrate on in this Friday webinar, it's all stuff from Double Your Sales. It's 12 videos of tremendous training. We just this week we're finishing up class 7 and 8 in a online session I'm working. It's a home study, your space, your time, video, reading, audio, and this is the big plus. We're giving you 4, get it, 4 one-on-one 30-minute sessions with me right now if you buy this home study. So not just do you get all this information, you and I get to work together for 4 sessions. And at the price we're going to give you the course here, 2 hours with me would cost you just about that much. So you actually get the course for free when you think about it. But of course, you got to ask yourself these questions, right? I mean, we always, whoop. All right. Let's see if we can share. There we go. We always got to ask ourselves these questions, and we got to stop thinking about it. And this is what holds you back from follow-up summit. You know you need it. You know you need to do it. This course is an investment. You can afford it. And here's the question for you as we get ready for this year. And it is the #1 question that I have to ask you right now is, what are you going to do different this year that's going to make your business different? Are you going to start doing this follow-up? Are you going to invest in some? Listen, if you don't do anything different than what you did last year, you're going to have exactly the same results or less. Because here's the thing, you're either growing or you're shrinking. There is no in between. So let me go. I'm going to share one more slide with you right here. Bam, not $697. Now remember what I said. You're not just getting the home study 12 lessons. It's going to take you from defining your target through CRM, through presentations, through prospecting, through qualifications. All those things are in this course. And you're getting 4 30-minute sessions with me. And I just want you to understand, you get 4 calls with me, 30 minutes each. And that makes the course worth so much more, because once you go through and you work something, you say, okay, Manny, can you help me through this? Yes, because I want you to get out there and I really want you to double your sales. So that's follow-up. Who knows where we'll go next week, right? We'll find us the next subject. I think we actually looked at the possibility of doing a whole session just on one-on-one. And the week after that, I think I have a guest coming in. It's going to talk about some networking things. So got quite a lineup coming in February. And then, of course, March, we have our boot camp. So we'll start giving you some stuff on that. Get out there and start doing the follow-up, right? And don't forget, this is it. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Get rid of all them cards, put them in your system, and start following them. Thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure to be here. Have a great day and see us again. We are here every Friday on this show to bring you exciting stuff that's going to help you to build your business, to double your sales, double your income, and grow. Isn't that what you want? And not just double once, but once we double, then how do we double again? It's Coach Manny saying, have a great day. Get out there and help someone else to have a great day, because that's what we're all about. How can we help other people succeed? Thank you and have a great week.